I joined because I just love being in a team where everybody kind of has the same likes and differences, because we all kind of are nerdy and like to game and have fun.
I believe in STEM. I think it's great for kids. It's hands-on. It teaches them how to problem solve.
I want to be a robotics engineer when I grow up, and I feel like this will give me a good thing to put on my college application, and B, will give me a good jump start on programming and building robots.
Welcome to this week's episode of Ladies of the Roundtable Live 64 EP E3 The Aftermath. My ladies in the house, Tiffany, I think.
Hey!
Might be that way.
I don't know which way I am. One of these ways.
Hey! And Holly, I think you're down there.
Hello.
And this one, Boston in the house with the monkey hat on, because this week is unanimously voted sucked for the rest of us who had to work. Just saying. If you feel like we do, raise your glass. To get your solo cup, whatever you got, ladies. It's Friday. We're breaking it down.
The Herculoids.
All right. So, no Pixie tonight. Pixie is once again under the weather, but don't worry, we found out what's wrong with her, and they're gonna fix her and send her right back. 48-hour shipping on that one. We may see her next week, we may not, but don't worry. She's watching, she's listening, she can hear you guys, so stick around. We're gonna start talking about some E3. The rest of us didn't get to go. We got to watch on the Twitch, the YouTube, wherever the hell you watch, because it was everywhere. You couldn't escape it, right? This year blanketed everything, including major media. And we had some ups, we had some downs, we had some things that we thought were pretty cool, we had some stuff that we thought sucked ass, and some things that we missed. And we had to go back to the interwebs to figure out what it is everyone's talking about. So let's start with Holly this week. Your E3 letdowns or things that you thought were epically great or surprised?
Okay, so definitely letdowns is Nintendo, and I will go into that more with Tiff's feature. I think a really cool thing that I was super excited about was Dishonored 2, and not only just Dishonored 2, which yay, but it's starring a leading lady, not like on the side, not like a little bit, starring. And so Emily literally is the face of the whole entire game. So that's super exciting. And then the other thing that I was super excited about is Ubisoft's For Honor game. Looks dope. The Viking versus Samurai versus Knights. I'm all about that medieval stuff. I like dig that. So when I hear Vikings, I'm like, yes. So for me, that was a pretty good sum up.
Wow, you love the Vikings and medieval, huh? Who knew?
I know.
You're a
Woman of
sword
many
wielding
random
bitch.
likings.
Okay, all right. She's a Renaissance girl, if you didn't know.
I try. I try.
Oh wow, Tiff. What about you? I mean, were there some major letdowns or some things you were surprised with?
I'm not even gonna hide my saltiness about Sony taking the Call of Duty away from me and going with them for that. So I was screaming and yelling at my TV for a little while. If you were following me on Twitter, you saw that disaster. I was furious. So that was like my biggest letdown besides Nintendo, but I was just expecting a little bit more from Nintendo. I don't know why. I mean, it was one of those things where
Because last year
they had,
Nintendo
yeah,
rocked out.
last year they had a really good year. But this year they're just like, here's some stuff. And I was pretty pumped about the Microsoft conference. And like I said, we can get into this more as we go. But there were some ups and downs on both sides. But it was an interesting year this year, to say the least.
I would agree with you. I think that on my end, I feel like um, we were a little lopsided this year with some things. You know, some people did really, really well. Other people were faded way in the background, and you didn't even think about them in regards to the brand that they were last year. Again, Nintendo. A little
There was
disappointed.
a lot of
Um,
things that they announced that I just didn't care about.
right.
Just was just like even on the Sony side. I mean, when you start talking about what Sony was announcing, like that Shinmue whatever, I don't care. I don't even know how to pronounce it. And it's the third one. We're going to continue the story. I'm like, cool. Well, why don't you make it backwards compatible so we can play 1 and 2, and then we'll talk. So,
So
whole
you
other.
guys in chat, tonight's chat hashtag is going to be hashtag aftermath. So if you want to get in on this conversation, interact with us, ask us some questions, or tell us how you really feel, because you know we're down. We want to know what you really feel about this E3 this year, whether you were there or not, or whether you're still there and you're watching. We want to hear from you. And one of you beautiful ladies, if you would tweet our hashtag, and then we'll keep an eye on the Twitter as well, see if there's any other questions. Um, you know, I was kind of torn between, am I watching on the YouTube? Am I watching on the Twitch? Where I'm like, am I missing something? So I have my laptop. I had the Xbox One on the TV, and then I had my PC. So I was trying to figure out. Oh, wait. Oh, okay, over here. So it was a lot of coverage, and I don't know if that necessarily equated good coverage. So that's another question we'll have to ask you guys in the chat, and you ladies. Do you feel like wherever you are watching from, or what channel you are watching, do you feel like you're missing something on the left? Or were you good with where you were at? And if you were watching in one specific channel, what was that? Did you stick with the Twitch or the YouTube? So, Holly.
I didn't get to watch any. So that has been my week. Yeah, my work week was like super crazy, and my stuff at home was super crazy. So no watching for me.
Okay. Like some people, you just didn't get to see it. So, Tiff, what about you?
I thought this year was the easiest year ever to watch E3. I didn't have to download any ridiculous apps from Sony or from Xbox. All I had to do was tune into Twitch. Twitch had that shit on lockdown. They're like, you want E3? E3, E3, E3. And it was great because even if you wanted to watch like shows about it was pretty fantastic. Like, you know, if you guys follow like Game Over Greggy, what's his thing? Kind of Funny Games. They had like all kinds of stuff. He used to be with IGN, and him and his guys branched off, and they did a really good job. And it was really, really nice to be able to watch the Twitch stream of the content going on, and then it rolls right into them doing a breakdown or how they felt about it. And I thought that was really fantastic. So Twitch has been an absolutely amazing way to watch it, and it was just really, really easy and amazing and not frustrating. Because I know last year I was trying to watch the Sony conference, and it's like, download this live event viewer. And I'm like, I don't want to download it. I just deleted it like 2 days ago because I forgot I downloaded it and I was running out of space. I was like, no wonder I'm missing space on this thing. But yeah, it was so much easier to have access to this year. Coverage was great. And it was a good year, especially since we're in that year now where all the new gen systems are the consoles that everyone's worrying about. And I mean, I always look at all the stuff from first a gamer's point of view, like where I'm like, what am I excited about? And then from a salesperson, because I sell games. So I'm looking like what's going to be the hottest thing this year, what's going to sell the fastest, what's the biggest news, the biggest hype, and you could see those things right away, especially this year
So
with Bethesda on Sunday.
I really have to say, I like the fact that E3 programming was really trying to roll in diversity in this year. We had the couple of things going on. If you didn't know about the E3 takeover with our friends, Genesis Davis, Scott Patrick Patterson, Rachel, I got the hiccups, I apologize, and Baby Pancake, they were there. I was slated to go, but I had to back out. But, life sucks and we're here. But they did E3 takeover. It was all about the women in the gaming and a lot of coverage. And then we also had, if you didn't see it, Angela Bassett making a major appearance in Rainbow Six Siege. And then, of all people, back again, doing the whole conference rundown was Aisha Tyler. Back up on, just emceeing everything, throwing the mic down. I don't know. I didn't get to watch a lot of coverage. I just got, periodic things. So I don't know about you guys. Did you guys feel that it was more diverse this year? A lot more women or, people of various shades and colors being able to cover things? Or did you feel like you saw the same people over and over being, Twitch and, whoever else was covering it, like, Geeks and Sundry, for example. Let's go with
go ahead. Sorry, I felt like there was a pretty good mix. There was a couple press conferences where there weren't like any females. I think it was it EA? I want to say it was EA.
Shocking.
Yeah, I know, right? And there was just like, whatever. So, I mean, for me, I was really excited for the Microsoft one because it started off with Bonnie. And if you don't know who Bonnie is, she's like the head of like 343, and she is awesome, like so amazing. Yes. So she was the first one on stage and presenting, and I always love seeing her on stage. She's one of my favorite. And of course, Aisha, she was on for Ubisoft, and she's always funny. She's just naturally a funny person, and she's a very good host. And even if she's segueing into other parts, she just does a great job, and it's always nice to see her face and stuff with gaming.
And she's a actual real gamer. She actually loves the industry. I've met her a couple times, and she plays. It's not like she's up there just for show and is talking about it and is prompted to be that excited about the industry. She actually plays the game. So it's awesome to see somebody who is being genuine and sincere about the brand or the market that she, happens to be blending over into. I think we do have some chat questions, Holly, if I'm not mistaken. A couple things coming up.
Well, mainly just a couple comments right now, which is some good stuff. So Utterly Random said that he felt that Sony had E3 hands down since they announced The Last Guardian and the Final Fantasy VII remake. And the worst, of course, is EA. I mean, it's EA, right? What else do we need to say? And I will be talking a little bit more about Sony in my feature later. So I definitely like what you're saying there. And I think we had someone else say something. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
That's what I was. Oh, Jerry's super excited about Wildlands. That's what it was.
Yes.
So. And I actually really like what he said, too. He said, to be honest, I didn't really take a look into E3. I just wanted stuff to happen without kind of knowing about it. And then hearing about it makes me want to play those games, like be excited about it and be excited about the gameplay. Kind of dig that, too. So, very good comments, y'all. Yeah, very good.
We can go ahead and roll into who wants to go first. Let's just roll the dice. I'm going to pick, we'll pick Tiff this time.
Alrighty. So again, with more E3 stuff, let me get to my thing here real quick. Sorry. So, of course, the things that I want to talk about is E3, everything E3. I've been talking E3 all week. I've been doing it in store, out of store, at home, on Twitter. I think the only place I didn't talk about E3 was on Facebook. I spared my family from that, and I was just like, no, just follow me on Twitter. Trust me. I probably lost a couple followers because they're like, shut up. But it was great because I love things like this because you use that hashtag, you get different people interacting with you. Super fun week, even if you're stuck at home. But one of the things that I want to talk about was if you had seen the Nintendo conference, what could they have done better besides, just being there? A lot of times Nintendo is just kind of like, we're here. These are some of the things we're working on. Like, even like the one part that I was watching, it was like right before or right after the Star Fox that they were putting up. And just the way they were talking, they weren't talking with much excitement. And I guess for me, it was like she was like, no offense to her, but it was just I think it was the way she talked, but she was just a very quiet person and very like, I'm so excited to be here today. And I'm like, you don't sound very
you?
excited. Like, you're not getting me excited about stuff. Like, you're here to sell me these things. You're here to get me excited. And it might have been maybe she was really nervous, so that was one thing from Nintendo I was kind of bummed about is, the females that they did have on, they weren't very enthusiastic as much as I would have liked to have seen. So that's part one to question is what could have Nintendo have done better. Part two, was Sony as really impressive as it led out to be? Sony announced a lot, and what they got hyped for and what they keep getting praised on was remakes and HD Final Fantasy 7 and a Kickstarter for that game I can't even pronounce 3.
She's not even gonna try.
I'm not even gonna try. Now, I do understand after I talked to somebody else about the Kickstarter is I guess what they were trying to do is get some people to kind of understand that they do need to make this remake because there is support for it. So Sony is giving them money. It's not just the people who are donating the Kickstarter. It's just like, hey, look how many people care. We need to make this game. That part I get. That part I understand. But at first I was like, really? Really, Sony? You're kidding me right now. I was furious. I didn't even care what they had to say. I'm like, no. Just no. Because A, I didn't know the game, and B, is like, whatever. So that with being said, part B is what was really impressive from Sony for you. Me personally, I didn't see much of anything. I mean, they announced Last Guardian, which I was anticipating. I talked about that the week beforehand, but it looked terrible. Graphic wise, it looked like they pulled it from 2009 and said, "Hey, guess what? You remember this? This is still a thing." Those graphics looked very 2009 to me. I think what they should have done is shown some newer gameplay stuff for it or better graphics to really sell people on it because there's people that are just getting into PS4s and E3 and they don't know what The Last Guardian was. So they don't know what the hype is. The other thing with Sony was, again, Final Fantasy VII. While it looks beautiful and it looks fantastic, I will make note of the thing that they said. It said it will be first to PlayStation. So it's not a PlayStation exclusive. So I don't care. If it's an exclusive, that would be one thing, but it's not. The remake, I'm sure it's going to look beautiful. The trailer they showed is awesome. Final Fantasy VII has no nostalgic value to me whatsoever, except for that instead of playing Final Fantasy VII, I, as a child, played Legend of Dragoon. And I love that game. And if they would have made an announcement saying, guess what, we're going to remaster Legend of Dragoon and put out a second one, take my money. You would have had it. But I don't care about Final Fantasy. I'll probably try it, but I won't love it. So again, what was from Sony really impressive to you besides just the big remakes? Those were the only things that really stood out for me. There was the Transformers meets Ingrid from Game of Thrones game. That one looked amazing. It was like a giant
I don't even know.
Chat
I didn't
needs
see
to
that
help
part.
me out here. I can't remember what the name of it is. Someone mentioned it earlier in the chat, but it looked awesome. It was like Transformers meets Game of Thrones with she's like shooting things, and it was totally badass. And it was like a female lead, and she was just so cool looking, which I think that's a Sony exclusive. And then what else? There was I think I'm just real mad at Sony because they took my Call of Duty away from me. So we talked
Everything
about.
else is you didn't hear any noise after
No,
that.
I
That's what
didn't.
happened.
Like my Twitter blew up. I was going insane because I'm one of those people where I love my shooters and I love Call of Duty. Like I'm like my leg is shaking now thinking about it. I'm like, oh, you guys. They have, the beta for Call of Duty is
Horizon,
going to be
somebody in chat
first.
says.
Yes,
Horizon.
Horizon.
Thank
That's
you.
what it was. Thank you. Thank you so much. But they're getting the beta first. I will never play a Call of Duty game on a Sony product. Not happening. I don't like the controller. I don't care what you're doing. You
Okay.
put the beta on it first all day long. I won't do it. So for me, I was trying real hard not to just hate Sony more than I do now because I just play their exclusives. So every time I'm looking for something that's a little bit different from them and something that's going to make me really want to pay attention to them. And every year I just feel like it's like, cool, there's Uncharted. And Drake just stood there at the end and they had to restart the demo. And I was like, there's a preview for your Call of Duty Online experience. Because I was like, yeah, it's going to be terrible. I'm sorry. I have really bad.
No, it's okay. It's your personal opinion and you're entitled to it.
It's my opinion.
And I think that you're not the only one who probably shares that opinion. And if you can tell by your Twitter conversation, because you weren't the only one. You weren't talking to yourself, right?
Yeah,
so
I
there's
had
some people that
we
shared
were
that.
conversating with. So, I mean, it's Call of Duty and say what you want. Every year it's the same, blah, blah. But people buy it and I love it and I'll play it all the time. But I'll play it on Xbox. And like I said, just really wasn't too impressed. And I watched the entire thing. So from Sony, what stood out for you besides the remakes? That's my question for Sony. For Microsoft, my feelings on Microsoft, they opened with Halo, so obviously they won my heart for that. So I'm like, y'all did good. But that looked amazing, and I'm so excited about that. I'm excited about just seeing more of the graphics. They didn't put the collector's edition out at E3 like I thought they were going to, but it came out a couple days after, which I was okay with. I'm like, okay, this looks beautiful, so I'm good. My money's safe. I already have that. They had a couple other games for Microsoft I was real stoked about. Gears of War is on its way back, so
yeah,
I've got
what I'm excited about.
I've got it downloaded. I got to get back in there and try it out and see how it is. So I'll have views on that next week. What else?
I want to start with Nintendo because if you keep saying naming off studios, I'll
forget
where I left off. But I want to start with Nintendo, and I was a little let down by Nintendo because I feel like they just were, their heart wasn't in it. They just showed up and here we are again at E3. Look at us. And I mean, it wasn't they were there for just to be there. It wasn't like they had a dog in the fight. They're just like, we're hanging out at E3. And unlike last year, they had some IPs, they had some things that they were proud of. They were shiny and new and things we hadn't seen before. And you would think, especially after launching Splatoon, that this would be like, they'd be like, all right, here we are, come play it, check it out, and really ride that wave. Because what's happening, I feel like now is it's out and everybody's played it and they're all moving past it towards something else. And again, Nintendo is going to be trying to pick up the slack and try to, get those dollar bills. There's Lego stuff coming out and other things coming out that's really good competition for them. Yet they had E3, they had the platform, and I feel like they missed the mark. I don't know. What do you think, Holly?
I think Nintendo freaking blew it. They have some really cool things coming out for the Wii U, but they didn't talk about it, and instead they talked about 10 million trillion 3DS games. And they showed fan videos of people dressed like Mario standing behind fish tanks. I thought it was very odd. I don't know if I'm the only one. And for those of you that know me, I'm not a console girl. I'm a PC gamer, and the only console that I touch is my Super Nintendo. So when Nintendo fails, I feel like I'm having an outer body experience. I'm dying. I'm literally dying. So I'm sitting there watching that woman talk for 3 hours. It felt like 3 hours. And I'm just like, what are you guys even doing? Are you still a company? Are there games? What is happening? Do you guys only have 3DS? I thought it totally sucked bad. And usually Nintendo, I feel does a way better job. Oftentimes is people's front runner. and I just feel like it was bad. It was bad, 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 bad.
Yeah, so I think we're all in agreement that we were a little bit let down by Nintendo this year. We felt like, I at least felt like coming in the gate they would have been a contender, but I don't know, they were off in the dust somewhere. I don't know about you. What do you guys think in chat? You know, throw up the hashtag Aftermath if you feel like Nintendo let you down. They just, you know, didn't represent this year.
Those Yoshi amiibos, I will have all of them because they are cute as shit. And I cannot wait to play Yoshi's Woolly World. And I think that was the only thing I was looking forward to. They showed
Yeah.
Star Fox, but I'm like, eh. They're like, it's a
I will have them when they go on
continuation,
clearance at your
not-
store is when I will have them.
You'll
They
never
will be
find
marked
them.
down.
Luigi, Super Smash Brothers Luigi is marked down to $9.99. So,
Oh, well, send it
Wow.
on
It's on
over. It'll
sale.
go back there.
but yeah, those oh, they were so cute. And you could either like attach them to something or you could use them as amiibos. That was the cutest part.
They are cute. I have to give you that. And you know, I don't care if you're male or female. Them damn things are cute. Doesn't have to be a tchotchke. If I had my way, they'd be mounted all over my dashboard in my car. But my husband would not find that attractive and or practical if they're super glued down to the front of the dashboard.
You have Velcro. You take them with you.
No, I'd like to keep them there because I'd have to have more than one and put them in strategic places around the house. Just fine, Mario hanging out. All right, so who's next? Which studio? You want to go with Sony? Let's go with Sony. What do you guys
Sony.
think? Actually, Holly, before we move to Sony, anybody in the chat got any more they want to add to the Nintendo conversation? Because I know I saw chat rolling by real fast for me. I saw a big text wall from somebody. Yeah, she's still reading.
I don't see any specifically on Nintendo, but I may be blind.
It's okay. I saw that text wall and I went, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
too.
just like about
Poo-poo-poo.
a bunch of games, and which is great because I love hearing what you guys think about E3.
For me, for Sony, wow, what can I say? I feel like everything's got to be remastered. Where's the creativity? Where is the? I mean, we're paying a lot of money for those games, right? These games are not cheap. The system is not cheap, and I know y'all have to make a living over there at the studio, and you got some devs who have creative minds, but we're remastering everything. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, can I get some new stuff? I mean, I don't mind a game here and there being remastered so we can go back through it. Maybe even throw in some extra something or other for me to want to spend another $80 because now games aren't 60 anymore. They're like 80 bucks on a game, whether it's console or PC. And then DLC me to death. Don't get Holly started on the DLC. It's like, do we really need everything remastered? Can we have at least one or two? Or no? Is that a negative? Can't have it. I also feel like there was, I don't know how to say it. I'm just going to throw the baton at you because I have no words for, like, Nintendo really let me down. They didn't rep, but Sony came in and they were just like, I felt like, you know, have you seen a balloon get the air let out of it? You're just like so excited, then it's gone because you're just like, that was it?
Yeah, I didn't really, like when they ended, I thought it was going to be something really amazing, but I was like, oh, Uncharted 4, we've already seen that. Why didn't you end it with something cooler? I don't know. Like
I had expectations, I guess.
I did too. Like I said, though, with Sony, for me, every year, I'm just looking for that something that blows my mind. And that one, I already forgot the name of it. The one from the chat that you guys were helping me out with, but I'm never gonna remember the name. I just keep thinking of Transformers with it.
I'm still trying to talk myself into getting the new PlayStation console. I mean, we have the Xbox One. Only reason I had a PlayStation in my house was because of Little Big Planet, and then I couldn't find anything else to play on it. So I was like, fine, all right. Kids got an Xbox One. I don't need to buy that other console. And I still don't feel like I need to buy that other console. The Wii U will be coming before that PlayStation comes in the house. And after E3, I still don't feel I need to buy it either. I mean, there's no reason.
for me with Sony, it takes them a long time for them to have an exclusive game that I'm pumped about. I remember when The Last of Us was coming out. It took them 7 years of me owning a PlayStation 3 to be like, oh, I can play this game. 7 years. So I'm anticipating another 7 years before there's an exclusive title that just blows me off my feet.
Damn.
That's where I'm at with
7 years. I gotta wait 7 years. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Maybe I'll just visit my kid in college and play hers, and then I won't have to worry about getting one by then. Holly, what do you think? What does Sony do for you, if anything?
Well, my feature is a little bit about Sony and like all I can focus on about them. Kind of like how Tiff was feeling about the whole COD situation.
Yeah.
Sony just kind of like died for me because of the whole like backward compatibility. So yeah, I mean I feel like along with what Tiff was saying, like I feel like everything looks super old and not creative. Kind of a bummer. So not happy.
All right. So again, we're batting 1,000 here for so far. We're Debbie Downers with the E3. We're like, everything sucks.
Everything was terrible.
What do you guys? How do you guys feel about the new Gears of War? The new studio, the new logo, this big changeover. You got beta coming up. I know Holly, you're loving the shooters. So what do you think?
It's actually like one of the things that I'm like, okay, like I'm interested in this. So yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about it. I think it looks pretty good. For me, like it's all about playability and like how it's gonna feel. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. But I think it looks rocking.
Are you loving the new name and the new logo? I think it looks very interesting myself, Coalition, and the new logo. It's something entirely different from the way they were branded before.
Yeah, it's definitely different, and I think it's a good different. I think it's a statement piece in itself, which I think is good, and I think sets a precedent for what we can see coming up, which is cool.
And have you signed up for beta? Question.
No, I have not.
All right, Tiff, you plan on signing up for beta?
I am already signed up, but it's downloaded. I downloaded it last night. If anyone in the chat does want to sign up for beta, all you have to do is go to gearsofwar.com and sign yourself up. It will actually send you, you log in. I think you take your email address that's attached to your gamer tag and you pop it in there. It'll send you 2 messages. One is for downloading the beta and the other one's like a key for downloading it. So I guess it's like, since you were invited to do it, I don't know if it's going to be an open beta later on or something, and that's why they're like, you have to have the key now to do it. I haven't researched it too much, and I haven't played it yet. I'm looking really forward to it. I'm not one of those people that is like, oh my God, Gears of War, my favorite game. But I do like it. It is a lot of fun. It's just chainsaws, man. How could you not want to tear stuff up with chainsaws? But that's also going to be in Doom, and I'm so excited for that too. Doom was amazing. Oh, that was so good. Totally leaked into that, but that was a whole nother conference for Bethesda. But I completely forgot about the Bethesda.
Yeah, I was. Let's just go there now because I was so excited. I had mixed emotions because, again, my real life job would not allow me to be off work to go to E3. I told them, you just don't get to go to E3. It's not like it's, oh, buy a ticket, come on in. You get invited to go to E3, people. What don't you understand? I'm supposed to be there. And Bethesda was why I was going. It was my thing. It was my place, my people. You guys were, I mean, you know, your peeps were there and I wasn't there. So when I was watching it, I was just like so glued to the TV, listening to every word and wishing that I was sitting in that seat to be just as excited as everyone else as all the stuff, all the feels were going on, just throwing out games and nostalgic, iconic T-shirts and things that I could have had in my hot little hands. But I really loved the coverage. I was excited about the fact that I didn't have to go anywhere else to watch anything else. I was just glued. I don't know. I see chat questions. Am I seeing chat questions from over talking everybody else? Holly. Sorry.
Yeah, so the one is from Utterly Random. What do you think of Bethesda's press conference? Um,
I loved every
which
minute.
we're hitting on. I think Sean brings up a really killer question. He's feeling sick of Dark Souls games. Do we think it should continue or eh? What do you guys think?
I see a fan base for it. That's for sure. There are people out there that are like, that's all, they just love that stuff. It's not for everyone, for sure. I could still see them being made, but I can see a lot of people getting maybe burnt out on them if they have been playing it for a long time. I think maybe they just need to mix it up for those people that have been doing it. But I've never personally played it. I got it sucked into Bloodborne and I loved it. But after a little while, I was already done. Nothing sunk me in like I am with ESO right now. So.
ESO, huh? You know, I can't say anything because I'm not a big console player, so I can't make too much of a comment. Me and the controller aren't friends. It's not pretty. It's
I
just
have
not.
to have a
I feel
controller.
like
I'm like,
no, that's
how do I
that's
do this on a
dude, I'm
PC?
telling you, you don't even know. I have a Razer Nostromo, and then I game with these hands, two hands. The controller, I can't. I feel like a clumsy, like, ugh, just bad. I just want to throw it down. I can't. I'm like, what's the button on the top? It says L what? We're toggled. Yeah, too much. Too much. I need spacebar.
Isn't there part of the Dark Souls on PC?
More than likely.
I think
Because
so.
I swear that I've played it and could only play it for 20 seconds because I couldn't set any controls.
Yes. There is there
That's
we
a
talked about this, I
problem.
think, last show about the crossover when they're, making games from one or the other, somebody's getting left out of something. We're always having an issue of I can't do this because, on my PC, but I can do this on my console or vice versa. And I really think that that's going to continue. I don't think that's going to be an issue that we're going to be able to resolve because they're two different animals and two different play styles if you really think about it. And some of us just can't cross over that threshold. Dark Souls. Everybody's loving that Dark Souls. I never got into it, so I can't make a comment on that. Looking at the chat questions. I know Aegon, or Ian, producer man, has played that. Beating up them keys.
I know.
Holly.
Look
Get
at
it.
Sorry. I'm trying to.
Angry
I'm
typer.
like,
You're
I know.
aggressively typing.
It's because I'm a PC gamer, so like my typing skills are like prime because I've been on the PC for like 13 years now. So
like
I'm just like,
smacking it
I can
around.
type a freaking like novel in like 5 seconds looking away, just totally not focused. I'm crazy. I'm trying to figure out my mic and it's annoying the poop out of me. I'm on a Mac.
Your mic sounds fine.
Does
Sounds
it
fine on
sound
this end.
okay?
Sounds so good to
It
me.
sounds fine on this end.
So
I can
when
hear a
I'm
little bit.
talking, all I hear, like I don't hear I hear myself, duh. But like in the computer, I hear like, and I'm like, all right, cool. That's what I sound like.
That's the new sound cap for before we go live.
There we go.
So, yeah, Ian said you're fine. So
Okay.
the producer man says you're good. I want to segue into Holly's comment about the backwards compatible because I think we keep dancing around the subject. And I'm just gonna let you loose, girlfriend, and go ahead and roll into that question or that. Well, I shouldn't say that question because it's not a question. It is your opinion.
Yes. So, for those of you that know, I'm not a console gamer at all. I'm a PC gamer, and my first console experience was Super Nintendo. My second console experience was PlayStation 2. And I freaking love my PlayStation 2. I have it right over here. I have all my rockin' games. Like, love it. Xbox. Never been a fan. The only thing I ever played on Xbox was Celebrity Deathmatch at LAN parties when the PCs were taken up, which was fun. But I'm not an Xbox person. But E3, Microsoft's the announcement that Xbox 360 games are going to be able to run on Xbox One. it literally made me want to turn back time.
That's
And
what I
like,
say
can
about
I
that.
just be an Xbox person? Can I just be an
Can you?
Xbox person? Hell
Can
no.
you is the question.
Hell no. Hell to the no. But I kind of, for a second, split second, wish I was, because I have so many PlayStation 2 games that I would love to put in my PlayStation 4. I use my PlayStation 4 every day for Netflix and for whatever else. Rayman Legends, love. So I would love to just pop one of my PlayStation 2 games in there. I think Sony needs to hop on the bandwagon. And at the moment right now, Yoshida said that they're focused on creating new experiences on the PS4, and they're not shifting their focus to bring older games into the platform. But they also didn't like rule it out like altogether. I want to know what you guys think about that. And what I think is I think that Sony's going to eventually have to hop on the bandwagon.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to go first because
Okay.
I'm going to stop you before you get into something else. Further into this rabbit hole we're about to go down. But I think that you're right. I think that there is no good reason why they should not, because, again, the longevity of our community is based upon keeping our attention as gamers. We have attention span that's small to begin with, and as fast as IPs are being pumped out at us, we can't even play a game for longer than 30 days. Used to be 3-4 months, maybe 6 months if you're lucky. You get 2 weeks to 30 days for somebody, and they're blew through an IP. Why not have them get excited all over again? And backwards compatible stuff, it doesn't make sense to me. And you're talking about more money in your pocket, because not only would people be out going, hey, my friend had this game and I played it and I didn't realize how great it was, I'm going to go buy it for mine now. It just doesn't make sense to me to leave money on the table. A huge company like that is going to leave money on the table? I realize you want to create new and exciting things and keep up with the market, but are you going to be able to do that when you're getting blown out at the bottom line by someone who's doing the appropriate thing by telling you, we appreciate you and value you as a customer, we're going to make everything playable? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me why you would not. Tiffany, what do you think?
Oh, I've got a mouthful. I've got so
Go
much
for
for
it.
this one. Okay, so we have to remember there was also on PlayStation 4 the what do they call it? They had it out for beta, and what they basically was is there were PS1, PS2, and PS3 games that you can rent and play. You could play it for a couple hours, or you could play it for whatever. But you're renting the games that you already own. So Microsoft just crushed that with you guys, because I already own Mass Effect. I put the disc in, it downloads the game, puts it through an emulator or whatever. It's downloading a digital copy of the game. The disc becomes my authentication key. How hard is that, Sony? You have all those files digitally. Put that disc in, make an authentication key, and don't charge me $6.99 for a game that I already have sitting in my house.
Yeah,
what is wrong with you?
Now is what it was.
Yeah, PS Now. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Because I wanted to try that because I like being first on those menus. I'm like, let me try it out. I'm in the beta for this. I'm like, I don't want to pay for this. Why would I pay for this? This is stupid. I own
PS
this
no.
game. It's, yeah, PS hell no is what it is, because it's ridiculous. I'm like, here is my game. Put it in. Let me play it. It's right here.
It's
Why
my
do I pay
game.
money?
That's the key word.
I have
My
it right now.
game. I paid for it.
It's one of those things that it boggled my mind when they sat there and they said, we're not going to do that right now. I'm like, maybe you should, because when Microsoft announced their backwards compatibility, so get this, I'm working in my store, I'm watching it on my iPad there, I got it going, and thankfully nobody was in the store, because this was my reaction. Oh, shit! No, they didn't! I was so stoked. Sorry if that blew out, and it didn't even help me just moving it away, because I was so pumped for that. I'm like, no, they just did not just announce that right now. I'm like, what is Sony gonna do? Generally, Sony goes second, and then they like blow Microsoft out of the water. What are they gonna do? And when they didn't, I was like, are you serious?
Did they not get the memo?
Did you guys like see that this was a thing? Like, you had to have known this was a thing. Like, you blew my mind with it, but you're gonna just sit there and not allow people to do this? I mean, like Holly said, like, she has a PS2 there. She just wants to use those games, and I get it. It's one of those things where I've fought backwards compatibility for a long time. looking at the retail side of it. And me personally, I don't go back and play games. Like I just don't. Like if it's new and it's out, cool, I'm gonna play it. But I'm not searching for 360 games to play. You know, the only ones that I did play would be like the Halos, you know. Now, if we remember too, when the original Xbox came out and the 360, what they had is they're only going to have about 100 different games that are going to be replayable by launch. That doesn't mean that they're not going to get more of them. They have to acquire licenses and all that fun stuff. But in stores, you would see a little BC on the 360 or the original Xbox game saying that you could play that on 360 requiring an update. You can still do that for 360s now, like on the older Halo games and Fables and stuff. And so it's kind of like they're just doing what they've already done. It's so like, Sony, how did you not see this coming? You guys started with backwards compatibility on your PS3s, and that was a huge thing. I just sold a PS3 that was backwards compatible 2 days ago because the guy already has all that stuff, and he's like, I just want to put it all into one. I'm just going to use it to play my PS1, PS2, and PS3 games, and that's what I want.
I love the fact
he
that
spent $120 to do that.
I love the fact that if I want to, not being a console player, have the opportunity to go back because I'm not a console player and do a whole playthrough of the Mass Effect series because I didn't get to play it, then I could go and do that. You know what I mean? Or again, because my daughter is gonna be 14. Ugh, say that out loud, and is starting to get into more of the teenage ESRB titles and young adult titles that she didn't get to play when she was younger. We're going back and looking for those older games because she wants to play Halo now and she wants to play, you know, some of the other things that she didn't get to play as a younger child. So for me, it's like open season, and I can be like, I can trade it in, right? I can go and be like, yeah, you can play that, and I can trade it in. I don't have to be like $80 and then, oh great, I'm gonna get $10 for this when I go back, right? I can still go through and it just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you see how many definitive editions that they've been putting out and remakes of stuff. It's like
things.
Your entire thing was about remakes. Just like, I don't even care if I have to buy the app that allows me to play those games. The other thing, oh my God, totally sidetrack thing, but I have to say it now or else I'll forget. How come I can't change my PSN name? Why can't I change my PSN name? Why did they not announce that at E3? If they announce that at the next E3, I'm going to lose my shit. They will get an oh shit from me because that'll be the one thing I'm looking forward to. Still can't change my PSN name.
They're going to get a strongly worded caps lock letter from her. Okay? You hear me?
My Sony rep is gonna hear it. I tell him all the time, like, you need to fix this. Along with the reason why we can't.
You need to fix it, Joe Bob.
I do. I tell him. You shoot this up the ladder and let them know that I am mad about this and the CSB thing. Same thing with pink controllers. I've been trying to get him on that case forever, and he can't because apparently the Breast Cancer Association owns the color pink, and you can't make pink things.
Dude, so I have a PS2 one from like 12 years ago. Yep. So I guess that was probably before that.
Can't you just spray paint it and bedazzle it and be all
That's
good?
dope.
That's what I did to my headset here. I made a Sailor Moon one for people who love Sailor Moon. It's Sailor Moon headset. But yeah, that's the reason why they haven't done a pink one for like since the PS3 ones. Even the PS3 one was like a baby pink. They have to make sure it's the correct shades of pink so that it doesn't infringe upon that because people see pink
and they associate it, copyrights.
It's really
Side note, because you just distracted me, my mini-me has decided she is going to have you, Tiff, make her Death Note sneakers for just because before school starts, because she has to wear them to school. She has to be the coolest girl in the crowd, just so you know. She's like, I could do commission. That. I need to commission Tiff. So it's going to be coming your way, that request.
Sweet.
All right, so we are all I think we're all on the same page with Sony. I mean,
yeah, and like, the chat is bringing up some good points about the difficulty, and I just want to say I'm totally not trying to say it's not like this is easy for them to do, but it's 2015 and there's virtual reality games and there's all these incredible things happening. I really don't think it's that difficult to do it. And here's the thing, it may be now, but then they should have done it in the first place. I mean, I remember when I got my PS2, I was like, it was like known that it can play my PS1 games and my PS2 games. Then I got my PS4 and I tried popping in a PS2 game, and Chris is like, "What are you
Spit
doing?"
it back out.
And I'm like, "Playing a PS2 game," and he's like, "Oh well, you can't do that on the PS4." And I'm like, "Let's return this piece of crap." Like I was pissed. Like, it doesn't make
Right.
sense to me, because to me that's what I'm used to. That's how it's always been. That's how it should be. Like there's some incredible PS2 games. Kinetica blew my mind. SSX, Tricky, all that. I mean, SSX period. Harry Potter. I mean,
I
and I know
think,
you can play this stuff on other places, but like
when you
my
say that's
PS2
how it
games,
should be, I think that's put a period on the end of that, bitch, because that's exactly what it should. That's how it should be. There should be no question. You shouldn't have to have a and or, right? I mean, especially if you want to be a console player, keep my attention. I mean, I
yeah,
don't know. You guys in the
I'm a
chat, don't
PC
forget
gamer
that
trying to
hashtag
play your
aftermath.
console, and I can't even play my games. Hello.
Hashtag aftermath. If you want to add to this conversation or disagree with the conversation, be my guest. Yes, Ian, we got that. I see you coming down. Ian and Holly are having a totally separate conversation
About PlayStation.
about PlayStation. They're in disagreement. Oh, we got a sighting. We've got a mini Tiff on the floor.
We have a visitor who can't like wait to.
Oh, she can't go. She's like, I can't do night time without coming in.
She's really excited. Well, now she's seen because she came and visited us before we started the show. So she's like,
right.
She's talking to somebody. We're gonna go see Inside Out, aren't we?
Are you? Are we gonna get? We need her to review Inside Out for us.
Do you wanna tell everyone how Inside Out is next time?
Yeah, you'll give us a video. Actually, she can do a little video blog.
You want to make a video review like you do with the toys about Inside Out? No, no, you don't want.
She can give it 1 to 5 tomatoes, maybe. You know that Rotten Tomato site that they have. She's gotta get a review.
So other people know. Just so people know.
Oh, so you just want to show it to people you know, but you don't want to put it on the internet?
Okay.
That's okay. That's fine.
That actually might be a really freaking smart decision, dude, from your little one.
Right?
She's a genius already.
So we'll just give her a gamer tag, and she can tell us what she thinks.
I'll let y'all know. I'm excited for that movie. Side note, because it's apparently pretty good.
It looks
great.
It looks awesome. You know, and God bless you for going to see those types of movies, because I cannot go with my husband and my daughter because they drive me crazy. I can't sit through another cartoon with them. He watches what I call Japorn because it's Japanimation, and it's not dirty. It's just I can't deal with the little Japanese schoolgirl outfits and things. It's just not my thing. And then she watches some of the Japanimation plus the Cartoon Network and some other channels still. So I'm bombarded with comics and cartoons all day, and I can't watch grown-up TV. So I can't bring myself to go to some of these movies because I feel like my brain is overloaded with colors and not real people. Is she talking? I'm like, mic check 1 because I can't hear.
Oh, no, sorry. I muted because she wanted me to tell you guys what kind of ice cream she had today.
Oh, okay. It's all good. Breaking news.
She had Sour Patch from Rita's.
Oh, that's the bomb.
All right, you good?
Under the ice cream truck, my kids are kids.
She just wants to share what's going on. Okay.
Whew. All right, so back to the task at hand. I forget where the hell we left off because I got distracted by the cuteness. Mine's a teenage brat right now. I get this hormonal imbalanced.
She'll be there soon.
That just yells things from down the hallway and slams the door. Asks
6 going on 16.
I won't say ask for money. Tells me she needs money and where I have to pick her up from, and then gives me when I ask her to do dishes. Who is that? That is not my child. Woo! It's been a week, I'm telling you. It's been a week. You can't fire them. You can't get rid of them. They're still here till they're 20.
You guys are like my weekly birth control. I mean, like, I have that as well, but like, every time I go with the show, I tell Chris, I'm like, yep,
No
Still
kids
happy
though.
being not having kids, having a dog, and gaming it up in our free time.
Birth control. That's hilarious. Woo! That's
We
awesome.
provide a lot here at the table.
We
So
do. Full service table, man.
yeah.
Hallelujah. Don't
So
have kids unless you really, really, really want them and have a lot of freaking time on your hands because your life does not become your own for a long ass time. I'm here to tell you. And then you're lucky if they move out because they come back with
It's
baggage
true.
sometimes. Just ask my mom. Real, true story. Ooh, we have some question. Go ahead, read it, Tiff.
Mr. J, my buddy, we've got whose VR setup looked better. I see that we haven't really talked about the actual Microsoft press conference. We just kind of relayed to it. So we will go over that next. But from what you guys saw, what was the better VR setup?
Well, I did not get to see the whole entire Microsoft conference, so I'm going to defer to you, Tiff. Did you watch the whole thing?
I did. So there's kind of a little bit of a difference between the two of them. One's more of like an alternate reality, and the other one's virtual reality. So you have like Oculus that is with Sony. So they, you put on goggles and you're
Right.
in the world. And then what Microsoft has is called HoloLens. So basically, it projects stuff and it's there in front of you. Their example was genius. So what they did is they showed off the HoloLens with Minecraft. So imagine Minecraft on your table, picking up blocks, moving them where you want them to go, doing stuff like that. It's Minecraft in your living room with your physical hands, which is blows my mind. Totally amazing. They also did a Halo Warzone thing. I only got to see the bits and pieces of that. I didn't know what the point was too much, but you can like customize your guy and stuff, and that was pretty neat. It just looked really cool, and I think that was going to be that's going to be more of the future than what virtual reality is. With Sony. So with Sony, they have Oculus, which they didn't even touch on for their conference. Like they didn't even talk about it. So where are
That's
you
just
guys on
weird.
that game? Yeah, like I expected them to come out with that and be like, boom, this is the thing. This is what
They
we
must not feel ready.
They
Well, you
can't
know,
be ready for it.
Mm-mm.
Oculus is on the market. You can buy it.
Hmm.
You can have it. It's tangible. You can have it in your house, but there's not much to do with it. Because
Exactly.
tell me about it. I know some kids that are on my robotics team. There's like 3 of them that have it just because they had to have it. They got it for Christmas, but they don't know it's sitting on a shelf. They don't know what to do with it. So I agree. I think it's like, when are you guys just going to be like, all right, here it is. Now's the time. Or are they waiting to see what everyone else is doing so that they can figure out how to be ahead of the game and lead the pack? I don't know. It's kind of confusing because I myself get motion sickness, like I said, being in a car. So I'm not even planning on purchasing any of it. Now I
Yeah,
do think it's
that
kind of
won't be true.
cool with the Minecraft of being able to actually pick up and manipulate and move. That I could probably handle. But if you put the Oculus on my head and then add a treadmill in there and then whatnot, so my legs are moving, I don't think I can handle all that. Too much sensory overload for me.
So and I feel like once I started playing Counter-Strike hardcore, like I'm gonna say 2, 3 years in, so I was like 15 at the most. I remember sitting at my computer thinking, holy crap, what if I could like run around and move my hands and like have a gun and like that's just something that always as a kid that I've just seen as the future for gaming. This is like no one was talking about it. I mean that I knew of. I was like 15. I'm sure other people were obviously thinking about it and dreaming it up. But I just remember like having that little nerd thought to myself and now it's like a reality. Like this isn't even a thought. This is like happening. I think that is just beyond cool. And all my kids at work are always trying to get me into Minecraft. Like, a lot of my students used to watch my stream and they were like, oh my gosh, Holly Ann, you need to play Minecraft. And I'm like, not really a fan. Like, I would do that tomorrow. Like, if I could be picking up, that is tight. Like, that's just, I just think it's incredible. I mean,
I think
just
that
look at
would
where we
really
were
roll
now.
into that could really roll into some STEM education for kids in the learning curve because they already have Minecraft as an educational software and teaching kids how to code and develop. But if you add in the actual physical movements in the game and being able to learn the physics of how things are built or destroyed or why you can't put this block here because the thing's going to topple over, that kind of thing, that's going to be pretty awesome. um,
there's that learning part, and then think of what that's going to do for physical therapy.
Yeah.
I mean, you can sit there and have somebody play Oculus and be put into this world where maybe they can't move, and they might think that, you know, it might be a little bit better for them to try to do stuff like that. But I feel like with the HoloLens, they're also still going to see their environment, and they can try to lift something or they can move things. I know when the Wii became a big thing, nursing homes were using it, and they were using it for physical therapy so that they can get people moving. I feel like that's what HoloLens is going to do for a lot of people. You're going to see this in hospitals. You're going to see it in old lady homes. You're going to see them in homes of people. It's also kind of like I don't know if you guys remember, but I Have Judgment on the PS3 would have the camera, and then it was supposed it would. It's basically what the camera does now on the PS4, same damn thing. Where they're like, "Oh, look, we're gonna project all these little things in your room," but instead of it being only on the TV screen, they're actually gonna be around you. So I think that's gonna be really immersive, and I think combining the two worlds of putting the game into it, but still seeing everything else is gonna be very, very important, because there are people who can't hop into Oculus and just submerge because that's just like mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
we're not ready as humans for that just yet. It's a cool thing that we're starting it now, but I think in 15, 20 years, that's when we're going to master that, and that's where it's going to be really cool. But as of right now, the practical uses for the HoloLens is way better. Like, there's just, like you said, with designing things and going into, like, it's very Iron Man, you know, where he's standing there and he pulls stuff apart and he can put it back together and he can switch it all up. That's where I feel like we're at in this day and age, and I feel like HoloLens is going to do a great job with schools and teaching and being able to pull stuff apart and shoot it back together. I think that's going to be fabulous. I hope that it comes to that.
The one thing that we really, I think everyone is going to agree at the table, and you guys in the chat let me know if you agree, most geeks or tech-minded people or people who enjoy technology as much as we do, that's what we want to see out of our technology. Technology that is not just put out for technology's sake, but has a practical use and or an entertainment factor, and then you can add to that, you know, have building blocks on top of that. And Holly, and you speaking about the virtual reality and the VR, and the Oculus, last year when I went to E3, I was lucky enough to walk past the booth, and I see all these people with the Oculus on their head over on one side and trying to wrap their brains around it, because it was the first year for it, of what this thing is. And there's a big line of traffic. Everyone's wrapped around, you know, around the block trying to get to it and be able to demo it. But then you go into often another small corner of an indie section, and there's a guy over there with a full-on flak vest. If you know what a flak vest is, it's just a bulletproof vest. And there's people walking over to it, stopping, trying to figure out what the hell he's doing with this vest, and just a normal shooter game. And they put the headset on, and then you hear, whoa! And they're totally freaking out. You put the headset on, and you hear the bullets whizzing past, and as you hear the bullets whizzing past, or if you get hit, this vest vibrates exactly in the place where you would have gotten shot, or the bullet goes past, the vest, you know, does a little jiggle, so you know that it's such a sensory overload, because you're like, wait a minute, somebody just shot me in the back, so you want to actually physically turn around. And I thought that was kind of a neat addition to, if you're looking at putting all these things together, you've got the vest, you've got, you know, the Oculus, you know, you've got, I think it's neat that you could be submersed in the game like that. And that to me would offset having this thing on my head, something like that, where I've got something else to go with it, if that makes sense. You know,
I think that's killer. And, you know, I think Tiff brings up a really great point too. I don't think anyone really knows this, and it may just be like, we don't care, but I need to preface to why I'm saying this. So my degree from college is child and family, but my emphasis is special education. So I've worked with kids and adults, but mainly kids all along in terms of disabilities, whether it's physical or mental or whatever it is. And gaming for children with disabilities is huge. Like, amazing. It is like, I mean, there's kids that are autistic or kids that are on the spectrum that really have no interest in doing really anything, and then they put them in these games that they have that are like motion, and the kids are like digging it. Like, so exactly what Tiff was saying in terms of physical therapy, like that's exactly where I see this going. Like, this is more than the stereotypical like gaming, like, ooh, get ready to like be this like really sexy character and get to touch her on the sidewalk, like GTA 5. Like, this is way beyond that. This is like it's so incredible to think about all of the future for VR as a whole. It's great.
I think we're just seeing what they want us to see right now, and they're testing the market to see if we're going to gravitate towards it, or are they going to have to supplement with other things, or where they're going to spend their money at, from a marketing perspective. And E3 was that place for them to kind of touch base and see how we react. And they could be watching right now and we're saying, we're not sure about their technology.
Yeah, even in the chat, it's one of those things that it is hard to put a presentation out on VR and virtual reality. It's real hard. That's something you just gotta try, I'm real hoping that this year when I go to the GameStop conference that they have it on the floor. Let me try it. So hopefully
I would think that they would. Of all places, they should.
They should. Now, if you go to, I think there's special Best Buys that are doing kind of like the Samsung event thing where you can go in and you can see the Jurassic World. I might have touched on this last week too because I was all about dinosaurs and I just saw it. I didn't get to do that, but I know some people who have, and they said it was really, really cool. Like you look around,
some people who have. We know who you are.
Yes, yes. Someone who drove all around to all the Best Buys to try to find one that was doing it because apparently Best Buys don't answer their phones. I don't know if it's still going on. I know it was for a limited time, but if you're trying to get your hands on something that's like Oculus or virtual reality to try it out.
So guys, if you go to your Best Buy and they do have it, do a Vine, do a short little video, tweet us, tell us where you're at so we can say, that might be near me. I can go check it out. So I don't have to drive all around or try to call. No one's picking up the phone, right?
Yeah, I think they're supposed to have it listed on their website, but they're not doing a very good job at it. Like,
us gamers, we're not trying to look on the website. We're like, we're just going.
Yeah,
you don't have it? Damn it. Next, the Target of it.
So hopefully, when I come back from that, I'll have some firsthand experience. I'll have a lot of experience playing some other stuff too, so I'm going to be pretty pumped. I think that's really cool. Usually if you go to San Diego Comic-Con too, they usually have like booths for gaming there now too, so it's more than just games, which is pretty cool to do that as well. I'll have more info on that later.
She's going to be the woman covering the things. Our roving reporter during that month. And so I think we are tying up our E3 coverage unless either one of you guys have anything else to add or anybody in chat have anything you want to ask us about the E3. I think we've tightened that noose as far as we can get it. You got anything in the chat? Aftermath, #Aftermath.
Yeah, anything else from Microsoft? I don't think we really. I mean, we what happened, I think, is we worked really backwards on today's show, which was really great.
Sweet.
It worked really well because, we talked about Nintendo and what our expectations were, and then we talked about some great stuff with Sony, but then what we were disappointed with. And I think a lot of the conversations went back to what Microsoft is doing right this year. They got a lot of flack for introducing entertainment and talking about, the stuff that the other things the Xbox One can do. And this year was the year for games for them. And I don't like choosing a winner. I just like one conference more than the other. But
I think Microsoft was very innovative this year.
Yeah. This year they had a really good conference, and I'm excited for the games that are going to be coming out for it. It's going to be neat. I can't wait to play all the things. Is anyone in the chat getting Batman this week? Because that just got rated 10s and 9.2s and a lot of really high scores. So I can't wait to play the shit out of that. And it's rated M. So I'm looking to bust some faces with my Batman here. I can't wait.
It is a parenting dilemma in my house for those types of games. I'm at the stage where I want to play it, but I won't be able to play unless she's out of the presence so I can check it out to see if I want her to be able to play it. And I know if I play it and she's there, there's no going back from that. So it's like, I need a friend to play it and tell me if it's appropriate for my teenager who just passed the tween stage.
I have something for you.
Or do I can't read something and get a good feel for it. I need somebody who's actually reliable to have a conversation with me or myself play it. And like Witcher, I wanted her to play it because she's really into the storyline. She's one of those kids who would really get into it, but it's not appropriate for her because there's conversation needs to be had that I don't want to have.
Yeah, it's hard because, you know, there are some games that are rated M. Like, I know I talk about Halo all the time, but Halo's, you know, the easiest one to play, you know, and for whatever reason it's rated M. I don't even know why it's rated M anymore.
Language we can deal with. That's a conversation that we've had. We do not say what mommy says. Just because.
Because you're going to be
Because I'm the
screwed.
parent and I do what I want, damn it. You are the child. Don't repeat what comes out of my mouth. However, when it comes to gratuitous things and other content, I don't want to have to go there with my video games yet with her.
Yeah,
You know?
The Witcher is
parenting's
like
hard enough.
The Witcher's too
80,
much.
70% of it's like fine, but that 30% that you do have, it's like, whoa!
Oh my. Yeah, see, so,
Whoa!
yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if there was a feature on there where you could be like, parental control. My kid's playing it today. This is how she
a lot
can
of
play.
people want to see
But
those
hey,
things, but then you're
again,
censoring people, and then it's like
I'm
it's your
just
job.
censoring my minor.
It's
That's
so
all I'm doing.
weird. Like it's that's a hard spot to be because I see that every day where people are like, well, can't they just turn it off? I'm like, no, it's part of the game. Like that's why there's a rating on it so you can see that. It's like,
Well, as we're talking about
choice.
changing the development of games and how they should work best for us, as a parent, I would love to have the feature where disc 1 is for me, disc 2 is for her, or if it's a downloadable game, I have a feature on my console that says, parent, you can pick the rating for your kid. Because if I'm downloading the content, then I'm downloading a version of the game that's playable for my minor child.
Like what was that? Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 had that where you actually skipped an entire level because you were shooting down innocent people in an airport. That was great. So like I think if more games had stuff like that where they know what people are gonna play, they know what audience they're catering to.
Right.
And I mean it just have a checkbox where you undo this, this, and this. But at the same time, it's one of those things where now you're looking to a longer time to develop a thing that just pulls that stuff out of the game. Are people going to be happy having to wait a little bit longer? You know,
yes, I would wait.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like people like you
not.
and I would
Holly,
wait.
no kids having Holly. She'd be like, I want it now.
I'm like, I won't even play the game for myself because I think they took it too far. So that sucks for me because I'd love to play that game, but I don't want to watch 8 pornography movies mixed into my game. Right. So that's where GTA 5 is for me too. I think they crossed the line way too far. So then that sucks for me as a gamer because all my fans are like, oh my gosh, have you played blah, blah, blah? Like I'm still getting asked if I played GTA 5. And I'm like, no, I think it went too far. So I'm just not going to purchase it. So that's kind of like where I'm at. But thinking of something like being able to filter like I do with my TV, like I do with my... There's a movie thing called ClearPlay that you can put any movie in and it'll filter whatever you want to filter out of it. So thinking of stuff like that for games, I think is
I would pay the extra $100 if I had that option for a console.
Yeah.
I really would.
Yeah. A lot of people would.
But back to Batman. I want to play it, Tiff. I really do. But I might have to live vicariously through you. You just
go to that website that I posted, guys. If you guys are parents or if you guys are like people like me and you're just like careful about the content, that site's not only movies, but it's games, it's books, it's like everything. And it tells you broken down into categories what's in all of the games. So it's not really... They have opinions of people, but I don't look at people's opinions on it. I read like what's in each section. It's like broken down like sex, violence, language, blah, 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 blah. So then you can look what's in it and be like, oh, okay, this is as far as the sex goes, or oh, okay, this is the language. And you can, okay, I'm down with that. I love that site. It's killer.
I'll definitely keep that site on my favorites for when I'm showing people stuff like that, because you can show them the ESRB, but usually the last like 3 sentences where all the good stuff is that they don't want their kids to see, like, you know, the necrophilia in GTA 5. They're like, what is that? I'm like, do I need to explain necrophilia?
Explain it to you? Yeah, that's
can
you step over here.
If you don't know what that is, you shouldn't be buying this game.
You need a booth for the parents.
Yeah, for your child.
Tiffany, there's a question in the Skype chat that I want you to read because specifically we talked a little bit about this last week, but we're going to touch on it because we're throwing it up in there, the Legos.
Yes.
The Legos.
Oh, God, the Legos. So, question. I think Lego Jurassic World is cray-cray, but what do you think about Lego World's so-called the takeover of Minecraft? Let me start with this game is freaking genius. Like, I have to calm down to talk about this one because I am so excited. If you haven't seen the trailers for this game, it is so awesome. Oh my God. So Nintendo, or not Nintendo, Jesus, Lego.
They wish.
Not Nintendo.
Yeah,
Lego
Freudian
holds
slip.
these licenses for so many things. Now, I did hear that they weren't going to touch on Star Wars because Disney Infinity is going to have the Star Wars this year. Now, another thing Sony announced, they will have exclusive collector's edition with Star Wars. Boba Fett will be in their Star Wars collector's edition, but he will not be the only way that you get him. Just hold it out. He'll come out. You don't need a $200 collector's edition for Disney Infinity. Anyway, Lego Dimensions is going to be so good. If you've played any of the newer Lego games, the graphics are so good. So good. They're perfect. One of the other things that I really am excited about is they even put like Portal on this game. There's a Lego Dimensions Portal expansion pack. Yeah, amazing. Doctor Who fans, guess what? There's a Doctor Who expansion pack. There's the little Kitty expansion pack. There's a Wonder Woman expansion pack. There is a Back to the
Oh my
Future
God,
expansion.
Wonder Woman expansion pack.
There is
Shut
so
up.
many expansions. It's not even funny. You need to go that way. You can't go that way. Go.
Uh-oh. That mommy voice coming out.
But it's one of those things that we're excited to bring it into our household. It's
I'm excited too. There's so much. Harry Potter. There's everything. All the feels in one game. And you're going to just explode into confetti, I swear.
Oh my God. One of the coolest things too is if you watch the Portal trailer, when they're doing Portal, there is actually a point where on the dimensions thing. So if you get Lego Dimensions, you have to build the dimension thing and then you put your little characters on the portal. But with that being said, in the portal world, you have to move the characters from one side to the other to make them go through portals. There's one that if you slide them up to the top, it creates them to be bigger or smaller in game. Like you're actually interacting with these characters in front of you, not just playing them in the game. So I think it's going to be really neat. Building the worlds, building the sets, building little pieces. Yeah, there is. It's going to be awesome.
Now,
I'm so excited.
True, as Holly says, go ahead. Go ahead, girl. I'll segue it for you.
Co-op, like multiplayer, or like co-op campaign that I can play with a friend for 6 hours and go through the story?
It should be co-op campaign. It should be co-op campaign. Like most Lego games are up to 4-player co-op campaign. And you can even like switch out the characters.
There's going to be some throwdowns in my house.
Yeah, so it's going to be really good. I'm real excited for it, especially because I've got 3 of us in our house, and we love the Lego. This entire
random guy says Lego Back to the Future. He's in, all in.
Shelf right here is full of Legos. Like I have my Halo thing here, but Chris actually bought the entire Lego Jurassic World set. So there's like
recently because you saw the movie.
No, before the movie came out.
Oh, okay.
He built his last set, the Indominus Rex one, which is ginormous. He built that last set right the day we were seeing the movie, and then. I'm on the Mega Bloks kick right now with the Halo, and they announced a special edition Mega Bloks set that's going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, and I'm real upset that I can't get it. So these are...
you never know. So, you have friends that are out there. They may be able to get their hands on one, so you need to start hitting them up now.
Oh, I know.
I can tell you, one of our former hosts is going to be going to San Diego Comic-Con. We'll just have to put an order in and tell her to ship it your way.
I'm
talking to you.
That stuff because I want it. There's also like a new Kai Arts figure that they released, and it's all things Halo. But Lego
does not love Legos. I mean, Legos are timeless, and you start adding in all of our favorite fandom into the Lego world, and it's just a nerd orgasm going on.
It's gonna be in Lego form. Yeah, like if you're a Doctor Who fan, it's crazy.
Pretty excited about it. I don't know what to say. I think there's going to be some fighting over Lego stuff. I mean, I have my Lego. You guys can't see back here, but my Lego Women Scientists kit. I have 2. I have one I've opened,
so great,
put together, and one that I haven't. And that thing was on back order forever, so I'm pretty excited about getting my hands on it.
Which is good.
It is good.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should come out with some different ones other than the standard set, but that's just my opinion.
Well, they started coming out with the Lego Friends, which is like the girly version. But my daughter's totally into them, and she's building those sets so fast it's not even funny. Like
I have feels about the Lego Friends, but it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's a whole another show. You should get
yeah,
her Goldie
it
Blocks.
is.
Goldie Blocks are pretty cool. So
She just likes whatever she likes. I don't really when it's one of those things where, it's I let her go down whatever aisle she wants. If she's like, this is the boy aisle, I'm like, no, this is another toy aisle. Like that's just what we do. She has certain things that she likes, and I'm not gonna steer her in certain directions if I know she likes pink fluffy bunnies. And like I'm not gonna be like, no, you like Rottweilers and pit bulls. Like, you know what I mean? Like
agreed.
it's I mean,
Agreed.
I'm one of those kids that when I was a kid, I was like super tomboy, but now I love makeup and dresses. So it's like whatever, that's
I
it's
think we all go through those
yeah.
phases of the different things, and the cool part about being a parent when you're ready to have kids, when you do have kids, is Holly's like,
Or
not
if you never
I.
have them, you can take your
Yeah, or
dog
if you
down
never
the
have
toy
them, but
aisle. They probably have some
you
wicked awesome
you have the
I
ability
would.
toys.
to
They do. You could take those. You could take your pets to stores. You could do that.
you can do
I've
that.
seen people do it.
You can drive around in your car, dress your pet up into whatever you want. No one can tell you you
Your
can't.
fur baby. Fur babies are just as
Fur
important.
babies are real.
They're very real.
Now that we've got totally off
I have a
topic,
fur baby too. My fur baby, I love him. He is my favorite fur baby. I don't know where he's at right now, but I love him just as much as everyone else. I think he's sleeping. He's totally
I'm
sleeping.
totally gonna do this because I'm just so awesome.
mine are sleeping too.
They're like, it's bedtime.
Are you screenshotting yourself? Oh,
I love your fur baby. I saw him earlier. So cute.
tweet us and show us your fur babies
Tweet
because we
me your
want
fur
all the fur
baby
babies.
at Tiff Toxic. Send me your fur babies. This is my fur baby. I love kitties and puppies.
I am so allergic, but I miss
Oh.
cats.
He's not happy because he woke up.
Let me tell you, I had a tuxedo, and his name was Sylvester, just because I could. And he was probably about 40 pounds heavier than your cat right there, but he was the biggest boy that I've ever had. And then I got allergic, and I had to get rid of him. So I have small dogs.
This is Gaston. He had
But
recently got a haircut.
I enjoy the
Gaston.
kitties.
There you go. You're done. Showtime's over.
All right, so we're moving on to the next topic now that we're done with the fur babies. Tweet the fur babies at us because we love
Tweet
them
me fur
all.
babies. I love everyone's fur babies. And I love you guys on Twitter because I think one day I was having like a really shitty day one time. I was like, send me pictures of your animals, and everyone totally delivered, and it was awesome. So I love animals. I don't even care. They're so cute. They're the best.
Fur babies. I'm tweeting it right now so we can see your fur babies.
Yay.
Next topic. I think it's my turn? You think it's my turn?
Yes. Yes.
My turn. As soon as I'm done tweeting. My topic I came across since I had to work this week. I missed a lot of stuff online that I'm very interested in, and as you guys know, I'm very interested in the STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math, and the push for more women and diversity in various fields, including the women in animation field. So as I was looking around the internet looking for stuff that I missed, I came across the Women in Animation presentation was last night. They had a panel, and they were talking about international films and the amount of women that are actually lead animators or animators on animation films. And the numbers were kind of weak. I was very surprised. I didn't know how weak they were. There was a study done by a couple major universities, and they had compiled from the Animations Guild. Now, remember, the Guild is just like a Screen Actors Guild. These are people that are actually part of the guild, surveyed, and actually filled these out and sent them back in. So we don't know if there's a percentage that could be off, 5%, 6%, whatever. But there's actually 20% of the workforce for animators is women. Not bad, right? 20%. It's not. We're not surprised. Excuse me. Women make up, 10% of that, and then producers and directors. That's a little low. 17% of them are writers. Out of that 20%, 23% are animators, which is, I think I'm not surprised by that. Animators. Canada is actually lower. 16 to 18% of our animators or creatives are women in the percentage. And I think it's, for me, I find the numbers kind of surprising. I don't know about you guys. You guys think that's wow, or did you think that it would be more? Think that it would be less? Tell me how you feel. We'll go with Holly first on that first question.
I honestly do feel like the numbers are surprising. I almost feel like it would be a little more by now. It seems a little low. Um, that was the only question, right? You didn't.
Yeah,
you
that
didn't
way.
go
I'm gonna go to
further.
the second question.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the
Okay.
second question.
I don't want to
yes.
get ahead of myself.
Sure. Tiffany.
Yeah, I was also really shocked by those numbers. I mean, being an artist myself, like I've seen a lot of people that are, into design and they're female, but at the same time, when I start thinking about it, I'm like, no, a lot of them that I've seen, there are more males than there are females. Now, it's really an interesting topic to look into because it's not something that nobody thinks about, it's like, oh, you're artistic, you should do this, you should do that. And I mean, I've got that my entire life. Like, I thought I wanted to be an animator until I realized I had to draw the same thing over and over, and I'm like, no, that sounds lame, I don't want to do that. So me personally, that's why I didn't go into animation. I was like, I don't want to do that. I
I
think
found it amazing that it wasn't just animation overall. I mean, the Animation Guild, it doesn't have to be an actual person that draws only anime or cartoons, but also when you look at the numbers, they were talking about directors and producers and writers, or art design. Those are major jobs in the field, and our numbers are really low. I mean, as women, we're very creative. We're very nurturing toward a project. So you would think that there would be a lot more of us that are heading up projects and being a lead on a project, and that's not what's happening by these numbers. Again, there's Lisa Henson, who was the keynote speaker, who said that there are a lot of women who are just not brave enough to say that they want to be the director on a film. They want to have that lead role. And I find that crosses over into a lot of what we talk about on the show, from development, game development, to writing your own comic book, or self, what do you want to call it? Yeah, the word I'm looking for. Publishing your own comic book. I think that a lot of women just feel that it's just too much, and then we're not going for it. There's a few select women that are brave enough to do that, or step out into the limelight and say they want to do that, without needing the support from someone else or backing from someone else. But there's not as many as I'd like to see, or at least I haven't seen anyone step up other than someone who speaks for everyone in the industry, who we talked about last week, that just has warped views, and is not doing anything to promote and help other women, but just run off at the mouth. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised, and I guess a little saddened by the fact that our younger generation doesn't feel as supported, or feel that they can be as boisterous as maybe we are at the table.
With that being said, with the bravery thing, I mean, it's hard. It is so hard in art world and stuff like that. I mean, even within writing and directing and producing, that is generally, a man's world. That's where you see a lot of those things happen. I mean, you can even just watch Mad Men and see that. That's, they're portraying what they saw, and what, like, even though Mad Men is fictional, they really go through and kind of show the changes that have been made over time within, that kind of company. And it's really sad to hear that some women aren't brave enough to take on those roles. But I also can sympathize, because I understand not having the bravery to do something, but that's something any person can have feelings for. It's not just women. You could be a man and be totally scared of something and be like, this is a really big deal, I'm not going to do this. But I do think that more women are intimidated, or more women are more afraid of that than there are men that are afraid of it. So I think at this point, we really need more of those women producers, more women directors and animators and everyone. They just need to be really incredibly supportive. And that's something that you see everywhere. We've talked about it last week with like the gaming teams and stuff, about having a support and seeing those people up there. The more that you see them up there, the more people that you can have an icon for, you know. And it's the ones that are out there doing stuff. I applaud them for helping kids out and helping young girls and young women out who aren't aware that those people are out there, and they're out doing, you know, panels. That's where they need to be. They need to be out there doing panels. They need to be out there talking to people,
Raising awareness, yeah.
and raising awareness. So I'm really happy that they are out there doing that. I just hope that more and more of them will see it and get braver and just go for it. Because if you don't just do it, you're not going to be able to do what you want to do. You got to do that stuff to be happy.
And Holly, I think you have a great perspective from being competitive at a young age, being in the industry when it wasn't cool, and not having a manager or someone to kind of propel you, you know, and hold your hand and be like, this is how we do things. You had to kind of trial by fire. So I'd love to hear your perspective on this particular topic.
I think a lot of it too is personality types, gender aside. I mean, I'm a leader in everything I do, and that's how I've always been. So I've always been super upfront, super like everything I do, I lead in, but not everyone's like that. It's like my husband's not like that. That's not to say that he doesn't have some director role because, you know, or I don't have a director role because I'm a girl. Well, maybe I just don't have that director role because maybe I wouldn't be good at it because I'm not really a great leader. Like my leadership skills aren't like super great. So I think a lot of it too is personality types. Like for me, it wasn't hard stepping out and being myself because that's my personality. It wasn't something that I had to be like, oh my gosh, I gotta like get out there and I gotta be like gung ho. Like that's just who I am. So I feel like personalities are kind of a lot of it. I think also, I feel like because of what we do here at the table and the other ways that we're plugged into the industry, I feel like we hear more about those people that are out there doing that, those women that are out there being brave, whereas other people are not hearing about that. So I think I almost tend to lean on, oh, well, yeah, like there's a ton of women doing that, but it's like, yeah, but that's because that's what I'm doing, and that's where I am, and that's where I'm hearing about it. But I don't really feel like it's out there like it needs to be, but I think it's easy for us to feel like it is because we're immersed in it.
You know, my personal opinion is I feel like it is not in the forefront and it's not out there. That's why I created the table, so that we could use this platform to hopefully inspire someone else and or bring awareness to someone else's plight or service that they're doing to the industry, because a lot of this stuff is not going to be picked up by major media. It's not going to be picked up by any news streams. It's not going to be on Kotaku. It's not going to be on those places, IGN, where the, you know, where people read and our people are, because that's not gaming news per se. However, it is something that in our industry we should be paying attention to. So, you know, that's part of the reason why I brought the topic to the table, because I think it does cross over well into what we're talking about. When we're talking about bringing up the younger generation to respect gaming and the industry, not only for the technology that's there, but also the education and development and the tools and the leadership skills and all those things working together that you get out of working for a company that respects your skills, not your gender. I mean, that's very important for a life skill for a young person. You're not going to just get a job by your skills nowadays. We think it would be great if you could, right? It'd be awesome if they just take your resume and be like, doesn't matter what gender you are, here's your skill set, here's your skill set, awesome for the job. Maybe we'll hire you both or one or the other, but that's not how it works, right? Unfortunately, and this is what we are trying to be combative against, is making sure that we're all, you know, treated equally for the things that we do. And I think that there's some good conversation going on in the chat. Yeah, go for it. I just saw that pop up. talking about that their gender equality in gaming. I think that's what we said.
Yeah,
Was
so
the
there
first
was a
question?
question, how do we feel about the whole feminist movement in gaming? It was from Chocolate Rain. I feel like this is a good time to hit that because we're kind of
Yeah.
on it.
Well, chocolate, first thing I'm going to say is, and I'm going to speak for everybody at the table because I own the hammer at the table. We do not use the word feminists at the table very often. I'm going to throw it down a little lightly here. We use equalist, I can say the word equality. But feminist to me, it's got a negative connotation. So when you're talking about feminist, I'm hoping that you're saying just in general by gender, not man hating, man bashing women, because that we're not at all. Oh, thank you. You used the quotes. All right, now I can answer that question. The quotes are awesome. Awesome. Actually, I'm going to let Holly go first because Holly's got firsthand experience in that subject from a competitive nature. And I'm sorry, Holly, to keep throwing it over to you, but I think that speaks volumes because you were actually have had that happen to you, had discriminatory, atmosphere in your competitive gaming, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the whole feminist thing, I don't dig it at all. And I think a lot of it draws unwanted attention. So I think a lot of it's like you're getting some of that because you're bringing that vibe. Do you know what I mean by that? So like when I was doing my thing, I wasn't like, look at me, I'm a woman and I'm killing it, and look at my boobs and I'm like great and I'm shooting people. I was just there playing like everybody else. So like I wasn't trying to be like, this is like, who I am and I'm a girl and I want to separate myself from everybody else. And I was just trying to be out there doing my thing, be myself, which we kind of hit on last week, which I think they go hand in hand. I am 100% with you. Like it's about equality, and I don't believe that what we know of about the feminine, that's not what that's about. So that's not what I dig.
Oh, the question, I'm sorry, Tiff, was, I guess we'll go back to this whole feminists, air quotes, women in gaming conversation, especially with you guys being new to the table. People really want to know what your opinion is. They know what mine is. If you've been watching the show, you know what mine is. I can say it over and over till I'm blue in the face. But I guess we'll just take it from scratch because you guys have really never had to be able to answer that question. So go for it. How do you feel about that? Do you feel that you don't have a stance one way or the other? Is it a big deal to you? Do you have any shits to be given? Why are you at the table? Basically, I guess that's the question, huh?
It's one of those things that's hard to talk about because sometimes you just don't want to be involved with that shitstorm. That is.
Now let me preface it by saying we're not talking about Gamergate. We're not talking about
No,
Gamergate.
I know,
yeah.
But I just mean feminism as a whole. It's a hard thing to touch on for me. It's something that I've learned who just by the female in gaming things being a big topic lately. I've learned what my friends' true opinions are. And some people I'm like, that's what you think on the inside. Okay, cool. Why are we friends again? Like, what is going on? Like, why don't you think I have equal opportunity for things? What? I mean, I think gaming should be equal for everyone. And I'm, of course, going to stand up for any females that are into gaming and what they are interested in. And on a daily basis, if someone asks me for a girl game, I tell them that doesn't exist because all games are for everyone.
That sums up that question.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. All games are for everyone.
I don't
care what race, gender, whatever you are. I don't care if you're a dog that has opposable thumbs. If you can play games and you enjoy it, then that's awesome. That's where I'm at with that.
That is awesome. I think that we at the table are all in agreement when we say we use our trademarked Geeks for Equality is how we feel about the feminism, whatever word you want to use. And again, I think Chocolate, I'm going to go back to, we do not use the word feminism because it's an antiquated term. And I think in this 21st century, a lot of people, especially a lot of people in Congress, and a lot of people that are older generation from us, don't understand what our gaming culture is like. So we don't want to give them ammunition to throw at us. And using the word feminism kind of gives them that ammunition, and or some other people in the industry who have to make a bunch of noise to be heard. So we try to stay away from that. But we appreciate that question. It's an awesome
Good question.
I'm just looking at the Twitter. Sorry, guys.
Should we hit up? I thought Utterly Random had a great question, and to me, what it reminds me of is when we were talking earlier a little bit about ratings, game ratings. So he said, what do you think of Anita Sarkeesian attacking Bethesda about Doom and Fallout 4 for being too violent?
I definitely want to touch on that. I do.
Okay.
I wish Pixie was here because I would love to get her conversation, because Anita lights her up and you guys would have to check your raid holes before she starts screaming. But go ahead.
So I don't even, so here's my thing. And I think I have a really interesting perspective on this because, like I said, I'm actually pretty picky about the content that I play, watch, listen to, etc. So I'm the person that, wouldn't I be the one going, this is too violent, this is too blah, blah, blah. Well, in actuality, no, I'm not. Because what I believe is when you feel like that for yourself, that's totally fine. It's not something I'm blowing up social media about. I'm not on my Twitter going, oh my gosh, that is totally inappropriate. I totally disagree with. Now, if someone asks me, oh, well, I haven't seen you playing GTA 5. Oh, I just think it kind of crossed the line for me. That's usually like my answer. So I think the way that like just being like Doom, Fallout 4, too violent, that's very subjective. Too violent to you doesn't mean too violent to me. Too sexual to me doesn't mean too sexual to you. So I think that's a really bad thing to say about anything. Like, my hair's too red, my hair's too short. Like, what's too red? What's too short? Like, that's that's your opinion. Like, I really don't care what you think about it. Like, the other thing too about this is everyone has different boundaries for things. For me, violence doesn't bother me and it's not something that upsets me. But for someone who has PTSD, who's a war vet, maybe that is too much for them. And I think that's fine. I think being open about what's fine for you and what's fine for me, that's totally rad. But being like saying that they're too violent, I think is totally inappropriate.
Go ahead, too.
I'm pretty much in 100% agreement of what you said, Holly. Like, it's one of those things where it's not the right for everything. I was, again, sitting on my couch being like, yes, Doom, I'm going to rip, like, bloody arms off of people. But, you know, again, GTA, Brent comes up, he's like, I don't need to see this. This is gross. Like, I don't want to see that. I mean, I could even relate it to, like, the new Batman game coming out. Poison Ivy looks like a hooker. Why? Why does she look like a hooker? Why is she not in her ivy-clad like suit? Why? That's the one part about that game that I hate, that I'm so bummed about. She's wearing like a button-up that just buttons and let's go. I'm like, damn it, I wanted to like this so much. But when she started going off about like Doom, I was like, it's Doom. Duh. Like, I was scrolling through Twitter. I'm like, I came to it and I was like, of course she did. I mean, she's also in that spotlight where she's kind of expected to be appalled at, like, everything. Like, I just feel like she's in that spot where if something's going to be offensive to anyone, she's going to be the one that gets offended by it. And she has to be vocal about it. Much like you said, Holly, if it offends you, that's fine. And this is something we talked about previously with the other article we went through last week where
Brianna Wu.
Yeah, with Brianna Wu was like, this is what female gamers want. And we're like, no, that's what you want. It's the same thing with her. It's like, this is what you want. And other people, yes, some other people do want that. But you're making it sound like it's just like the end of the world. And I'm sorry, but I want to be a giant demon and rip people from limb to limb. There's like no sexual content in Doom. That's not even what it's about. It's the bloodiest, goriest game with chainsaws that rip through demons, rips them in half. You can see their skull and blood and eyeballs going everywhere. And I think it's beautiful in a differently awesome, gruesome way. And
Artistic
that's what
to
I want
you.
to play. Exactly. Like if you've looked at my artwork at all, it's all like friggin' skulls and stuff. If you look at another painting like in another place, it's like flowers and roses. Short hair, long hair, whatever. It's your preference. Like, but for her to go on a tangent about it, I was just like, it
Yeah,
just felt like a
well,
broken record to me. And I'm just like, I'm done with you. I don't listen to whatever she says anymore.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
only see if it's on there. And it was one of those weird things because, like, when she started doing the
feminist frequency.
the feminist frequency stuff, I watched it and I was like, oh, you make a great point. Yeah, you are making a great point. And then there was other parts I'm like, no, I don't feel that same way. And within like 5 minutes of each other, I'm like, no, I don't want that. So it was hard to have a conversation and be like, oh, I believe in this, but then it's like, well, I don't want to stand behind you because you don't believe in all the same things as I do. So I thought it was ridiculous, but that's my opinion on her, and that's her opinions. But she just has a bigger platform than some of us.
I feel like if anyone should be offended, it's us other female gamers and geeks and fans who should be offended by the fact that she gets to, again, like Brianna Wu, have a platform and just spew out all this stuff telling me how I should feel about my
Yeah.
joys in life. For example, she tweeted out, "Oh, I'm so disappointed in the Ghostbusters display at E3 has booth babes, and especially since the women in the movie, the people who are starring roles in the movie, now they have these crappy booth babes. Who is she to say that these women who are at E3 working and wearing these particular costumes are booth babes? If you notice and look at the costumes, they're not scantily clothed. They're not showing off a bunch of cleavage. There's not ass hanging out. It's not TNA. It's just a costume. And those girls may have been very educated, but she is throwing stones because she feels that they're booth babes. Did she stop and talk to them? Probably not. Probably not at all. I'm offended because you have a platform, yet you're not using it to reach the people or even have an intelligent debate conversation with someone
never
about your
positive.
platform.
Well, and then what it turns into
Well,
is,
it's
oh,
negative.
look, there's a girl at their booth, so they must be a booth babe.
Yeah. It's always
Maybe they're a
negative
girl that
side
actually
of
knows what they're
everything.
talking about. Did you ever think about that? Who's actually attractive? God forbid she's attractive. So now she's attractive and she's at a booth, so she's a booth babe. And I was dealing with that crap at E3 2 years ago. I was automatically assumed to be a booth babe. I barely had skin showing. I mean, I was in black pants and a black shirt with a freaking lanyard around my neck, but I was labeled as a booth babe because I'm a girl at a booth. Like that's crap, and that's what comments like that to me lead to, and I just think it's totally wrong.
I feel like she needs to put a more positive spin on things. Why isn't she focusing on the ones that are doing really well? Why is she giving this negativity any attention at all? That's
Right.
what bothers me about her, and I'm just like, why are you doing that? Why aren't you focusing
You don't
on
ever
the
hear her talk
positive
about
ones?
leading women in the industry or women that are coming up in the industry or women that are CEOs and owning their own company and creating more jobs, whether it's male or female. There's a platform to be used, and that's where I can get livid and go off on any minute if I keep talking about it.
I think we could all.
But we're running out of time, guys, because you guys had great conversations. We appreciate you coming into the chat and joining us because this show is fun and it's great when we ladies get to talk to each other, but it's more exciting when we get to hear what you think and add you in the conversation. So we appreciate you stopping by and hit that follow button to make sure that you can keep tabs on when we go live. And if you did not get to watch the entire show, you can check it out on our YouTube. New website, I should say new and improved website will be launching in 7 days or less. So you can go over there and check out all the things that we're doing, what we're involved in, what we've got our hands in, where we will be at conventions. So you can meet us and talk to us and actually have conversation with us in person because we are willing to do that. We will have meetups. Yes, we will. We will have meetups and we'll be doing some panels across the country. So look for us there and share and tell your friends. If you like what we're doing and you like what we're about, please tweet us out and pass the word along. Geeks for Equality, that's what we stand for, and we're helping kids through some younger generation gaming and do some things. I'm very tired. It's almost midnight. Ian's kicking us off the air. So we're going to roll into our into our shout outs. I'm going to go with Tiffany for her first shout outs for the evening.
Shout out to everyone hanging out in the chat today. You guys had great questions, and I love when you guys are interactive. It's super fun, and thanks, you guys. It was fun this week, and thank you for your like puppy and kitty pictures. You guys rule.
Holly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like super encouraged by tonight. I feel like the conversation was phenomenal. I feel like this is why we're here at the table. I feel like this is why we do what we do. So I really appreciate you guys, especially seeing a few of you from my stream, which is like very encouraging for me personally because I haven't streamed in a year and I just kind of deleted it and was like, you know, F the world. And just to see you guys here supporting this and what we're doing at the table here. It's bomb. So I'm super stoked to see you guys. Thanks for being here.
Awesome. My shout out, or shout outs plural, because I'm gonna do a couple. Firstly, I'd like to give a shout out to Pixinator, Miss Pixie. Hopefully she is asleep, knocked herself out, and hopefully you're feeling better. We understand you're under the weather. Don't fret, girlfriend. We got your back. Do what you got to do to get yourself healthy. Because we miss you dearly. And my other shout out goes to you two ladies at the table. I'm very super stoked that you decided to join us. I think you guys are amazing in your own right. Each of you are beautiful women, and you bring a lot to the table. It's been a great conversation thus far. I'm looking forward to the conversations we're going to have in the future. And I appreciate you very much. And my last shout out goes to producer Ian back there holding it down week after week. Ian's always there for us and shows up before we do for sound check, getting it together. Guys, we will be on hiatus for the next 2 weeks. I will be at Indie PopCon, so if you're going to be at Indie PopCon, please come by and say hello to me. I will be in the, I'll be all over the place. I'm going to be in the young adults educational section. We're going to have robotics. We're going to have coding and programming. We're going to be doing all kinds of things back there. And we're going to have a retro video game section. And then I'm also doing diversity panel, and I'm also doing women in fandom panel out there. So come check me out, say hello, ask some questions, and get the mic, because you're going to be able to ask a lot of questions of the people that are on the panel. If you don't know who the panel is, go over to indiepopcon.com and check it out. I'll be roaming the floor with my press pass and taking some pictures. We'll be covering that. Then after that, we have 4th of July. So celebrate your freedom with your fellow man or woman, and thank anyone and everyone who has served this country under armed services, and actually, you know, give them a hug, man. Give them some love, because without them, we wouldn't be sitting here doing what we're doing. So thank you so much. And then we'll be back, and we've got lots of guests coming up in this next quarter. You have someone that you feel that you want to see on the show, you need to see on the show, tweet us, tag them, we'll get them on the show. It takes you guys to help us out to book these guests. So if you find them interesting, let us know. We'll be more than willing to invite them to the table, male or female. You heard me, male or female. We have plenty of guys on the table. Just ask Tip, she knows.
Yeah, apparently.
All right. And with that, we are out. Thank you for joining LORT Live, Ladies of the Roundtable, episode 64. We'll see you in 2 weeks. All right?
Fireworks. Pew, pew.
Pew,
I'm excited
pew.
for 4th of July. Woo, woo.
Don't eat too much junk. I know me. I'll be
so
like
excited for the 4th
cake,
of July.
food.
It's like
all
the
right,
best
guys.
day.
Roll the credits, Ian. Later. Jazz hands. Whatever you want to do.
Fireworks.
Dance it out.
Yes.
Fireworks. That's going to be a new GIF. New peanut butter.
What, Holly? Come on.
Holly, come on. Do it. All the cool kids are doing it.
And then the little ones that trail off.
Little willows.